As this professional wrestler walks through a nightclub, he bumps shoulders with a legend who tells him to simply have fun. A passing of the torch to the next great action movie superstar.
Have fun.
Like earlier on in my career, I felt like it's the grind that we love and sink our teeth into and just fucking go and get after it. But I wasn't having fun.
Yeah.
But man, that time when it switched in my mind, like exactly what you're saying. Let me enjoy this now. Because I've worked hard to get here, wherever this thing is, just like everybody else. But this idea, like, let's have fun while we're doing it along the way. And you're right, it has that butterfly effect. It affects other people and it attracts other people. Before you know it, everybody's vibrating at this great place with enthusiasm and excitement and fun.
But was an Arnold Schwarzenegger blessing enough for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Did this big muscle man live up to his big screen potential? Sure, everybody wants to be buds with this man, but does everybody still want to watch his movies? And yes, after seeing him in The Rundown, I was sure that this man was gonna pick up where the greats left off and do his own thing. But what is The Rock's own thing? It's been over 2 decades since Arnold bumped his shoulder, and for better or worse, it still feels like Mr. Johnson is trying to find his way in this crazy wild world that we call cinema. And yeah, sure, his pictures, they've made some money, but have they made a lasting impact? Is this man forever stuck playing the same type of character in the same type of movie? And is that a bad thing? There is literally a meme that points this out, though. Look at the meme here. Do you see the meme? This is the meme. But yeah, the dude has been reduced or elevated to literally playing himself. Like in that Fighting with My Family movie. And didn't he go and make a TV show about his own life too? Like a Everybody Hates Chris kind of thing, but not Chris Rock, it's The Rock. I'm sure it was fine. And after a while, it gets repetitive and eventually disappointing. But still, for some reason, awesome. So yeah, what the fuck happened to The Rock? Or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, or just Dwayne Johnson? I don't know what to call him anymore. I hear some people call him DJ. I'm not gonna do that. With humble beginnings and just $7 in his pocket, he was able to conquer the world of wrestling with nothing but an eyebrow and an attitude. This led to featured roles on television, mostly playing himself or people like him. I think he even played his own father on that '70s show.
Yeah, it's really nice, bringing your kid to a wrestling match. You know, I got a son, and one day, he's gonna become the most electrifying man in sports entertainment.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
His magnetic charisma and natural screen presence quickly caught Hollywood's attention, and his film debut was as the Scorpion King in the second installment of the Mummy franchise. The producers were so excited by the presence and performance that they started production on a solo vehicle before The Mummy Returns was even released. His background in choreographed combat served him well in these roles, and he says that the transition from steel chairs to steel swords was a natural one for him. But the horrible CGI kind of serves as a bad omen of the shitty shit to come. Not all of it is shit though, like The Rundown, it's freaking awesome. The captivating presence and physicality that he honed while wrestling, paired with the charming comedic aspects of this character, really helped make this character, come to life. The Rundown is a seriously underrated buddy comedy action movie that really gave me hope that The Rock was gonna do something really interesting and fun with his career. We didn't necessarily see this as his breakthrough, but it showed that he has something special in him. And funny enough, The Rundown actually did better with critics than it did audiences. Not a lot of people went to go see this movie, which is like the exact opposite of the narrative of his career later, where the critics wouldn't like the movie, but everybody would go see it. I guess that pattern started with Walking Tall, because ever since then he's certainly been able to draw audiences, while the movies he's appeared in are mostly critically panned. But of course there's some good stuff thrown in there. We did have some hope with films like Gridiron Gang, Faster, which has nothing to do with the Fast and the Furious, and that movie Snitch. It's actually like good and stuff. But it wasn't enough to allow The Rock to grow. And apparently Ballers is good. And yeah, who's to say if this was a good idea or a bad idea? But The Rock then tried to do the family-friendly thing. You know, stuff like The Game Plan, Race to Witch Mountain, Tooth Fairy, Journey to the Mysterious Island. I guess he was hoping one of those would be his Kindergarten Cop, but no.
Boston Rebels, experience the heat. Boston Rebels, catch the magic.
The Game Plan.
Yeah, Spike.
It's tough to pin down exactly how Dwayne Johnson has become such a beloved movie star, even having starred in a lot of movies that were poorly received by the critics. But yeah, that doesn't really matter. Perhaps it's his superhuman work ethic and his superhuman charm that are a double-edged sword. And maybe The Rock became too powerful to take any real risks. And I'm not saying he's never taken a risk as an actor. Actually, that's when I like The Rock the best. Like his character in the stranger-than-fiction Michael Bay movie Pain and Gain. Michael Bay actually let The Rock play around, get silly, get dark, get dramatic, get vulnerable. Yeah, some people think it's funny that The Rock's greatest example of performance range is in a Michael Bay movie. He also took a really interesting risk early on in his career with Be Cool.
And I see a guy like you and I say, he's got the look, but does he have the talent? Can he act?
Watch this.
Elliot. Goddamn, what you doing, man? What?
But a lot of these unique movies and interesting performances are overshadowed by a number of baffling missteps in all genres, like Southland Tales. The hell are you doing there, Rock? Or The Misguided Doom, or the movie Central Intelligence. Like, in theory, this should be funny, but it just isn't. I would rather watch The Rock and Kevin Hart just sit down and give an interview than watch them in a movie.
Complete Kevin's Twitter bio. My name is Kevin Hart, and I
am a piece of shit.
And then for some reason they made a Baywatch movie and put The Rock in it because, you know, muscles. And then for some reason they made another Hercules movie and put The Rock in it because, you know, muscles. There was Rampage, which is just a horrible disappointment. Sucked all the fun and the joy that was in the video game. I had a lot of hope for Skyscraper, but the action just got too ridiculous. Sometimes movies need to be believable, which goes for San Andreas. You know, The Rock versus an earthquake. I really wanted to like Jungle Cruise, but I'd rather go on the ride like 100 times than watch that movie again. And according to Netflix, Red Notice is like the greatest, most successful film ever made, and I don't believe them. I don't know, it just feels like The Rock has done all he can do with these types of movies. The Rock has rocked too hard, and now it's impossible for us to not see him as The Rock. So you never actually get to watch his movie, you're just watching The Rock, a victim of his own success. And that fucking sucks. Just sometimes it feels like nobody knows what to do with this man and his amazing screen presence. They try and they try and they try and nothing really sticks. Maybe people will appreciate one or two of his films for a little bit, but so far, unfortunately, none of them can really be called classics or even great. Sure, there's a handful of really, really good Rock movies, but has The Rock ever been in a great movie? I don't know, it's just kind of sad to me that sometimes it feels like the best thing he's done is just bring back some energy to a few Fast and Furious movies. And sure, yeah, he's fun as one of the bald men who drive fast, but all those rumors of bad blood behind the scenes and the cartoonish turn that the series takes, it overshadows anything cool The Rock was doing. Like, the best thing he does is flex a cast off of his arm, which is cool, but that shouldn't be the best thing. Hollywood also thought this guy would reinvigorate the G.I. Joe franchise, but no. Actually, The Rock, he works best in cameos. A little Rock goes a long way. Because yeah, one of the greatest things he ever did on screen were those few minutes he was in The Other Guys.
Before we continue with our video, here's a reminder to click the Store tab on any of our JoBlo channels and browse our collection of the latest and freshest designs in our merch store. Go get you some.
Parallels with the world of professional wrestling are apt to describe Dwayne Johnson's acting career. Wrestling programs characteristically will ride a hot concept into the ground, taking a if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality until a story or a character overstays its welcome with the audience. In wrestling, performers will play the same character for literal decades. This mirrors the prevailing criticism that Johnson seems largely unwilling, or perhaps even incapable of straying from, still playing minor variations of the same character in all of his movies. Remember the meme? But yeah, you have to admit, after all, this is what made the Fast and the Furious series and the Jumanji reboot so successful. And yeah, a lot of people like Jumanji, and sure, it's fine. I think it was just released at a really good time when everybody wanted a movie like that. But I don't know, when people say Jumanji, I still think Board Game and Robin Williams. I don't think The Rock. But maybe that's just me, because me is me. Meme. Hey, remember the meme? And that same approach can be seen when Mr. Johnson portrayed Black Adam, which on paper, in theory, is perfect casting, but one of the core issues with this mess of a movie is his wooden, one-note sullen performance. Modern superhero movies endear themselves to audiences by humanizing their larger-than-life characters. But this Black Adam movie, it just seems too preoccupied with making the character look impressive than actually make him, believable and relatable and have a soul. It's just such an embarrassingly bad movie. It's just silly and ugly and confusing, and it pretty much ended that era of DC movies, made the whole studio rethink everything they were gonna do, which happens to DC a lot. And he's pretty good in Moana. It's some good casting, but I don't really care because I'm not a little girl. But good for him.
So every time I play Maui, I'm in the skin of my grandfather, and it really moves me.
It's okay that tough guys can get emotional, Rock.
Yeah, well, pretend tough guys get emotional.
Black Adam would change the hierarchy of the power of the DC universe. No, it didn't. Well, it did, but not in a good way. A more recent example is The Rock convincing Amazon MGM Studios to delay the release and balloon the budget of Red 1. All because he went and saw Oppenheimer on IMAX and was like, yeah, our Santa movie should be big too. It's Red 1. It's this year's Oppenheimer. Because it bombed. Sorry. Straight to streaming on Prime because that's what it looks like, and it does absolutely nothing to take advantage of this larger format. It just looks cheap, uninspired, unmotivated, and flat colors. It's just so bland. It makes me hate Christmas, and I love Christmas. And what makes a great movie star? And what makes a great man?
Jesus Christ himself has blessed me with many gifts. One of them is knocking someone the fuck out!
Just like he did in wrestling, Dwayne Johnson ascended to unprecedented heights as an actor. And his legendary work ethic brought him from $7 in his pocket to hundreds of millions in his bank. By measure of conventional financial success, we've never seen anyone like him, and maybe never will. But I think a lot of us would like to see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson flex his acting muscles, instead of flexing his muscles while acting. Mr. Johnson's best shot may be just around the corner, because here comes A24 to save the day again. That's right, in 2025. The Rock is gonna join forces with A24 and make a film called The Smashing Machine, an MMA drama written and directed by Benny Safdie, who beautifully directed Adam Sandler in a dramatic performance in Uncut Gems. So I hope Benny is able to cut up Dwayne's gems and really give us something special. You can already see that he's trying hard because he's wearing a fake nose, I think, right? I love when actors add a fake nose. You don't need to, but sure, do it.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
I know this man, this artiste, has a truly great film inside him somewhere. He just needs to work with the right people to get it out of him. Dwayne Johnson's story is far from over, and he will have every opportunity to shape the narrative over and over and over again. And actually, The Rock doesn't need to do anything. He's done the impossible. He's proved himself on many levels in many industries. I just want to see him do more. But all he really needs to do is say, "You're welcome." Oh yeah, and he's gonna do a live-action Moana, so yeah. So, it seems like that Arnold Schwarzenegger shoulder bump really had an impact on The Rock. Because after all the championships, all the movies, all the memories, he is absolutely having fun. And thanks to him, so are we. Because you know what? Sometimes movies are just supposed to be fun. So thank you, Rock. And I guess you can say you're welcome again. And nobody should give a f*** about what the f*** happened to The Rock, because he's doing just fine.